Chia with Chia's Silver Lining, and I'm super blessed to be here today with two of my favorites. I just quickly have to tell you that I met Alesandro one day at our Kendra Scott. It was our event for breast cancer, and I am a firm believer that God puts people into your lives for a reason. Had you had not come rolling up on that bike that day and blatantly said, "What is this all about?" and asked for the right information and given me your story, I would not have been led to meet your precious mom. And that to me has been the greatest blessing. So I'm so honored to have both of you here today. And I want to pull a little information out from both of you because I feel that this world is craving this type of amazing information. So welcome today. Hi. Please introduce yourselves to me.
Hi, Chia. I'm Araceli.
Hi, I'm Alesandro.
Thank you for being here today. I really want to talk to people about the journey. I want you guys to tell me your journey and what you have lived. So take it from here, because you're the expert. You can go for it.
So we've talked about this before, Chia, and actually, I'm really excited about the fact that I've been, somewhat of your spokesperson within the Chia Lining team, and being able to let I want to say because now I feel like I'm part of the team, our wig winners. And so it's been an amazing journey. And just a little bit about myself, I found out that I had breast cancer at 45, and I am a single mother, so it was a little difficult, I feel, for myself. And that was one of my topics that I had when I was a guest speaker at one of the events, saying that the hardest thing for me when you find out about having cancer is that you have an expiration date. And I think we as humans feel that, we're going to live forever. I mean, not really knowing that, but that's how you feel. And I feel like when you get the news, you realize that you have an expiration date. So as a single mother, many things came into my mind was, did I get everything ready for them? Have I taught them everything? Have I, making sure their medical's okay, making sure that, who's going to take care of them if I, pass away? And did I give them all the knowledge that they need as young men, so when they get older, to be able to take that information and, pull it. So for me, that was really, it was important for me.
Well, you did a good job, I have to say, because he was certainly on the lookout for something to make you really happy. Mm-hmm. And so to me, that touched my heart. And I think you accomplished that.
He did.
But tell us more. Tell us a little bit more about how this whole thing happened between you all, because 45 years old, you've got to now address this.
So Alessandro, I mean, how do you feel? Like, how did you feel when you first found out? Remember when I sat down and I told you and your brother that I had cancer? What was the first thing that went through your head?
Well, I can definitely say that shock came into my mind. Mm-hmm. Knowing that, yes, Mom, you are a young mother. What kid thinks that their mom's gonna die before they even become a man or a woman or an adult? Mm-hmm. I guess I say that went through my mind. Sure, I didn't cry. I didn't really show that much emotion, but I believe you don't really need to show emotion to have that feeling in your heart that this is happening.
Yeah. And so what do you think, so what helped you through this information? Like, did you talk to people? Did you exercise? Like, what did you do to help yourself?
Well, let's just say, I definitely started exercising a lot more. That's how I met this woman over here that's been helping you out. Mm-hmm. I went to go get Chipotle because I was doing a lot of leg day and I needed some food. And then I saw this organization for breast cancer. You know what? I'm going to try it out and see what it's about. I got all the information I could, and here we are.
Awesome. And how do you think it's helped you, like, understanding this information, be a part of my journey? Like, we went to the Delta T. I know you had said you were proud of me. So, like, explain to me what were you proud of, when I had the, I Fight Cancer shirt, like, and talking about my journey and what I had to go through. Why would you say that you were proud of me?
Let's just say you've put a lot of courage into what you've done. Mm-hmm. You've had the patience to go from struggling and knowing, I got cancer, I gotta do stuff. You have the patience to move up to where you are now.
That's awesome.
And what would you give advice to others? Because, you're surrounded by a lot of peers because you're in high school. Mm-hmm. And, you've got to face that. And there's others, too, that are going through this. And sometimes they don't talk about it, or you may not know, or you do. What would you tell others of your peers' advice? What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, for me, I used to act like a hard ass. I always thought talking about feelings was not for guys, not for men. And that's completely untrue. When you let it out, it feels a lot better. What I can mostly say is, yes, talk. Go talk to friends, hang out, go to the gym. But what I really, really want you to do is help the person that has the cancer, help the person that's going through this situation.
So compassion. I think that is one of the greatest things you learn as a family, is to compassion for each other and for others maybe going through the situation, which is what we saw with you absolutely, as a show of compassion for your mother in the most tender way. And I'm going to take it a step even further, though, because I know that you have had to educate yourself as you go through this process. And he mentioned something really interesting about being healthy. And so I think you learn, right? Is this the point in life that maybe might change for the whole entire family? It affects the whole family because you start to research a healthier living. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I've definitely taken the healthy limit to a very much big extreme. I'm in 2 sports. I'm in cross country, and I've moved on to wrestling. And this wrestling journey has been quite a journey, even though I've only just started this week. And a starter, a wrestler, I'm definitely gonna suck at the start. I'm definitely not gonna be the best at everything. But if you put health and nutrition into anything you do, you can go past. The sky's the limit.
Absolutely. I think that's a great message that we want to also encourage everyone that is going through any debilitating illness, is to consciously be able to change their nutrition and their activity, because you immediately get paralyzed and you don't move. But in reality, it should be the opposite. We can circulate our blood and really get out there and be healthier. So I think that's an incredible message. And together, right, is your family sharing in this journey together?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like for myself, I think that's the biggest key. And people actually would look at me and say, wow, you're going through chemo, radiation, and you're still walking and you're still trying to run. And I did, because the reality is that when you research it, you can start getting tingling in your hands and your feet, and then you could possibly, stop, the flow of your blood, as well as all this information. And so for me, I never wanted that for myself. I wanted to make sure that I continued. And yes, it was difficult. I mean, there was days after chemotherapy, all I wanted to do was sleep, or all I wanted to do was cry and do nothing. But I had to really force myself to do it. And it was interesting, because I even had people say, wow, I don't even have cancer and I don't even get up and work out and do as much as you do. And I just felt like it was an internal desire to do better. And I think that's actually what helped me, my first surgery. And the doctor said that because I had been exercising and because I'd been eating, conscientious of what I was eating, making sure that what I was putting into my body was more nutritious, because I know that with preservatives and everything, can't say it's technically healthy, but good enough to the point you say, hey, I'm going to conscientious not eat this, because I know this is what's going to hurt me.
Better decisions,
right? And that's kind of a lot what I did. That's what I tell Alessandro and my other son, is that, it's all about portion control. It's all about looking at labels. It's all about measuring and seeing like what it is that I'm going to put into my body. I always tell them it's kind of like a bank, right? The more, you give yourself in the money, then you can cash and return. If you don't have that money, then you're not able to actually build that inside.
The investment in your whole life and those around you. I always tell my girls too, eat your strawberries, eat your blueberries. Yeah. They go, we know, Mom, it's an antioxidant.
Yeah.
And I say, but yes, I said that is the lesson I want them to learn. So if you're making better decisions, then tell us a little bit about your wrap that you have on you.
Yes,
right
I was
now.
actually I was like, oh yes, I'm Madeline.
tell us about better decision making, that we've draped you in a better decision.
I know.
Here.
So of course we talk about, scents and smells, and then of course, what you wear. So this is an organic cotton, which is again very important, because we're absorbing into our skin. So the zest of it, and that's really important. That's what I love about Chia Lining, is that you have really done your research and looked at it, like what clothing is going to benefit, what smell is going to benefit. And I think it's really important that if you do have cancer, to really look at what you're wearing, what you're eating, what you're smelling, what you're putting into your body, your environment, the plugins. And so this particular thing is exactly it. So I highly recommend to come and go to your website and purchase one. It feels amazing. So.
Well, thank you both for giving me your time and words and love and compassion. And I am blessed to have you both. And thank you for everything. I appreciate it.
Thank you.